What is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be showing you my entire CD collection. I think I did one either last year or the year before, can't really remember. But I've gotten quite a bit of CDs since my last one, so I think I got probably about 500, I'd say. Like including all the ones that aren't on my shelf, like that can't fit on my shelf. So yeah, I'm just going to show you all them, and then afterwards I'm going to show you the ones that aren't on my shelf, like the big boxed ones that come in like a big collection, or like ones that just like ones that are like this tall, kind of like book versions kind of. So yeah, I'll show those at the end, but I'm gonna show you all the ones that are on my shelf that are in alphabetical order. And yeah, let's get started. First up, so yeah, I do it in alphabetical order, but if it's a band that starts with like numbers, you know, or whatever, then obviously those are first. And then it goes numbers, like bands that start with numbers, and then it goes A through Z. So first up, I'm going to show this band. This is a really cool heavy metal band from Canada, 3 Inches of Blood. This is Advance and Vanquish. This has their best known song, Deadly Sinners. Other good songs in here are Lord of the Storm, Wickedtron, I think is how you pronounce it. Premonition of Pain is a really good song. The opening track, Fear on the Bridge. They're a really good band. They're heavily inspired by new wave of British heavy metal, and you can definitely hear that in their sound. They're definitely heavily influenced by Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, like a bunch of those bands, Saxon, a bunch of those new wave of British heavy metal bands, just slightly heavier. And then next up I have another album by them, which is Fire Up the Blades. This is probably my favorite. It's got my two favorite songs, Night Marauders and The Hydra's Teeth. Especially The Hydra's Teeth. That one's a really good, like, nice, heavy song. So yeah, there's 3 Inches of Blood. I don't got much for the numbers category. I have 3 bands, 4 CDs for the numbers categories. The next one, I got Three Doors Down, Greatest Hits. Not the biggest fan of Three Doors Down, but I do like... oh, I need to get my water. I always have water by my nightstand. I get thirsty middle of the night sometimes. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Three Doors Down, but I do like a few of their songs, and this has got some of my favorites like Kryptonite, When I'm Gone, Here Without You. Loser's a dumb one, but I still kind of enjoy it. Goodbyes is a really good one. So yeah, I think this only cost me like $5 at Walmart, so I was like, hey, that's a steal, I guess. And I hope the lead singer does well, Brad Arnold. He got diagnosed with, I forget which form of cancer last year, but I hope he's doing fine. He seems like a really like chill guy. And last for the numbers, I got the Millennium Collection, the best of 38 special masters, or what does it say? 20th Century Masters. This has got 12 songs, and it's got like some of the most popular ones like Hold On Loosely, Caught Up in You, Back Where You Belong is a really good one. So yeah, 20th Century Masters 38 Special Edition. Okay, now we're on to the A's, and I got a decent amount of A's. I think I got like 30 CDs in the A's, I think. A little bit more, maybe. So, to start off the A's, is Alter Bridge, One Day Remains. Now, you're probably wondering, where's the slip inside? Well, it's right there. It's a poster, so I decided to hang it up. One Day Remains poster. It's like a full-on fledged poster. So, yeah, that's where that is. And I was like, the CD has the album cover on it too, so, I mean, it won't really make a big difference, you know. I still know what it is, and it's still got the spine and everything. So, yeah, Alter Bridge, One Day Remains. I love Alter Bridge. I don't have their other albums, though. I rarely buy albums online, very rarely. I only do it if it's, like, something that's, like, in a big box collection or something like that, you know. But if it's, like, just plain CDs, I usually try to find them at record stores or Walmart or any other retailer that sells them. Same thing with vinyl. Actually, I do buy vinyl online sometimes because record stores, they are ridiculously priced. But yeah, I love this album. Open Your Eyes and Metalingus are definitely my two, especially Metalingus. It's a really good, like heavy metal song from them. The title track is really good, and then The End Is Here is a really good closing track. So yeah, One Day Remains by Alter Bridge, definitely check it out. Like I said, I want to get their other albums like Blackbird and others. And now we have, I finally have all the studio albums by this band. They're one of my all-time favorite bands, classic hard rock band. And like I said, I have all 17 studio albums. And it took me a long time to get all of them. But majority of these came from a collection. And I'll show the box real quick. So if you haven't guessed already, the band is AC/DC. And from High Voltage up until Stiff Upper Lip. And it also had 3 live albums in it. They came in this thing. I spent like $100 on this. It was a little over $100, but it was hold on. So it was 17 albums, 14 studio albums, like their first 14 albums up and through Stiff Upper Lip, and then 3 live albums. Also, Who Made Who, so 13 studio albums, I guess, and then Who Made Who, and then 3 live albums, and they all came in this box. But I couldn't fit the box because what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the bottom of this, and then with all the CDs, and then put the inside of it, so then I can just fit it, but it wouldn't fit, so I couldn't do that. So what I did is I just took the CDs out because they're in jewel cases, and then I just put them on the thing, and then I just put this over here on my shelf as like a display, kind of. But I'll just show you all the albums, and then I bought the other albums. I bought one of them at Walmart. I bought 2 of them at record stores. So yeah, the other ones that I needed. So yeah, I have the complete AC/DC collection, and I'll just show you all of them. Here is High Voltage, their debut album, the American or the international version. That's a good collector's item that I really want, is like the OG version that came out before the international version. But again, AC/DC is one of my favorite bands, so I'm gonna fanboy a little bit. But some of my favorite songs on here, It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll, is easily one of the best opening tracks in all of music, in my opinion. Of course, TNT is a really classic song. Everybody, my sister, whenever I play that song in front of her, she'll go, "Oi, oi, oi," whenever that part of the song comes on in the beginning. Yeah, Rock and Roll Singer's a really good song, Live Wire. So yeah, this is a really good album. Also, that album cover rocks. Can't go wrong with Angus. He's like one of the best guitar players. Next up is probably my least favorite album from the Bon Scott era, and probably one of my least favorite albums, honestly, if not my least favorite studio album. And I hate saying that because I know there's a lot of people that like this album, but Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. It's my personal opinion. It's still a really good album. You gotta remember, they're one of my favorite bands, so it's kind of hard to pick and choose, like, which one's my favorite, which one's my least favorite, but this is probably my least favorite album, if I'm gonna be, like, completely honest. But it's still good, don't get me wrong, don't give me hate. Big Balls is obviously a great song. The title track, Rocker, is a really good song, too. So yeah, it may be my least favorite album in their discography, but it's still a pretty good album, and that says a lot. Next up is Let There Be Rock. This is a really good album. Of course, the title track I freaking love. Dog Eat Dog is really good. Overdose, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Whole Lot of Rosie, which, I don't know, I'm guessing is a play on Whole Lot of Love. Power Rage from 1978. This was the first album to feature Cliff on bass. Cliff Williams, I think is his last name. I can't remember. I just woke up like not even an hour ago, so I apologize if my brain's a little iffy. But my favorite song, my 2 favorite songs on this album are What's Next to the Moon, and then one of my favorite AC/DC songs is the closing track, Kicked in the Teeth. It has like such a cool like vocal opening, and then it plays guitar, and then it goes back to just vocals. And then yeah, this is a really cool album, and also that album cover, definitely one of my favorites. And then next we have my favorite album of the Bon Scott era, Highway to Hell. That might be pretty like cliche to say or whatever, but it's a really good album. It actually has, this is actually my second favorite album by AC/DC, and it's got one of my top 5. It's got actually, actually, if you want to include this, 3 of these songs on here are actually in my top 10 AC/DC songs. Girls Got Rhythm, Walk All Over You, and Touch Too Much are all in my top 10. Highway to Hell, the title track, is not in my top 10 just because it's just a little overplayed and I kind of get sick of it sometimes, but it's still a fun rockin' song. But my favorite song on here is definitely Walk All Over You. It's got like a nice like fast rhythm, fast pace to it, which I really like. And then Girls Got Rhythm's a really fun song too. So yeah. And also that album cover, probably my favorite AC/DC album cover. It's iconic. Next up is my favorite AC/DC album, which again might also sound cliche, but it's just my opinion. If you guys drop down your favorite AC/DC album below, I'm curious. But the next one is Back in Black. I think it's like the highest selling album of all time. It's sold like over 60 million units, so it's like it's in the top 5 highest selling records of all time. But obviously Hell's Bells is a freaking awesome opening track. Shoot to Thrill is probably my favorite, right next to What Do You Do for Money, Honey. The title track is good. It's just slightly overplayed, but I do like to listen to it. Let Me Put My Love in You is a little cringy. Or Let Me Put My Love Into You is a little cringy, in my opinion. But still a fun song. You Shook Me All Night Long, honestly, is probably my least favorite song on here. It's not bad. It's just, I don't know, slightly overplayed. I'm not like the hugest fan of it. But it's still good. Next up we got For Those About to Rock. And this is also I really love that album cover too. It's such like a simple album cover, but it's like really good. Of course the title track For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. I Put the Finger on You. They got some goofy song titles. Night of the Long Knives is a really good song. This is a really good. The only thing though is that a lot of people back in the day gave it crap because it came out after Back in Black, and people were like, man, this thing is good, but it's still a rockin' album. And now we get to the underrated part of AC/DC's discography, which is like the mid to late 80s, which is like honestly like probably like my second favorite era, to be honest. Flick of the Switch from 1983, Rising Power, The House is on Fire, and the title track are definitely my favorites. Landslide is really good too, and Badlands. So yeah, this is definitely an underrated album, even though it is popular in a way. Next up we get to my favorite album of this era, from Flick of the Switch to about, so from like 1983 to like 1990, like that era is what I'm talking about. But this is Fly on the Wall. This is probably my favorite of that era, and it's got one of my top 10 favorite AC/DC songs, which is the closing track, Send for the Man. Send for the Man just has like that nice like raw 80s hard rock energy to it. Almost like it's kind of heavy. It's almost getting into heavy metal territory too. But yeah, this is a really good album. Definitely check it out. Also that album cover again. It's simple, but I like it. And then we have Who Made Who. This is the soundtrack to Maximum Overdrive, which was a very silly Stephen King movie from 1987 about killer trucks and killer vehicles. It's extremely silly and dumb, but it's a very fun movie. But this has like so this does have like an original song, Who Made Who, but then the rest are just like other songs. The reason that they did the soundtrack is because Stephen King's favorite band is actually AC/DC, so I think he asked them like, hey, can you do the soundtrack? And they were like, hell yeah. I don't know if that's how it went, but next up is Blow Up Your Video. And Heat Seeker is definitely a really good song on here. Kissin' Dynamite is a really fun one. That's a really good album. I realize I'm spending a lot of time on this, so I gotta really kind of rush a little bit. Razor's Edge probably has one of their most popular songs. Well, probably. It does have one of the most popular songs. What am I saying? Thunderstruck. The title track is also really good. Mistress for Christmas is a fun title. Next up, we have another really underrated album, but Ballbreaker. Hard as a Rock is a really good song, and so is The Honey Roll. And then next up, we have their album from Y2K, year 2000, Stiff Upper Lip. I like the song House of Jazz and Satellite Blues are definitely my favorite. That's actually in one of my top 10 songs, is Satellite Blues. And then we have, after their 8-year-long gap from 2000 to 2008, we finally got Black Ice. Not the greatest album. I'd probably put it as like my second least favorite album, just right in front of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. But it still got some good songs. Rock and Roll Train is a really good one. War Machine. So yeah, good album. And then we have Rock or Bust. This was the final album I needed to complete the collection, actually, but it's got like a hologram. The title track and Play Ball are really good. Rock the Blues Away is a really good one. I like doing that. And then the final AC/DC studio album I have, and their most recent one, is Power Up. I was really surprised by this. I really like it. Shot in the Dark is a really good song. Demon Fire, Witch's Spell. And then the live albums I have AC/DC If You Want Blood. I think it's a live album. It might just be a compilation. I can't remember. And then there's AC/DC 74 Jailbreak, which only has 5 songs on it. And I think it's like an EP. And then we have AC/DC Live, which is a killer live album. Okay, there's all my AC/DC stuff. I spent a while on that, actually. American Pie soundtrack. It's got some good artists, some not so good artists. Sugar Ray's on there. I don't like that. And then we have the American Pie 2 soundtrack. I love the American Pie movies. Next up, we have Avenged Sevenfold, Waken the Fallen. Unholy Confessions is an awesome song. Eternal Rest is really good. Remissions. Yeah, that's a good album. And then we got the album that like made them big or bigger. City of Evil. Love that album cover. Of course, Beast and the Harlot is one of my favorite Avenged Sevenfold songs. One of my favorite songs of the 2000s, actually. Backcountry is another really good one. Seize the Day is a nice, has a nice, slow opening. This whole album is really good, actually. And next up we have Avenged Sevenfold, self-titled. And yes, I did put a sticker. I put it on the sleeve, actually, because I didn't want to put it on the case like I've done with some of my others that you'll see later. Because if the case gets damaged, then I lose a sticker. But I got an Avenged Sevenfold sticker on there. Sorry if it's a little distracting, but this is their self-titled album from 2007. I have some songs on here like Critical, Claim and Almost Easy, Scream, Afterlife, Gunslinger. Pretty much this whole album is awesome. Little Piece of Heaven is a really messed up song, but so good. And then this is the censored version, which I'm not very happy about because I got it at Walmart, but I need to get the actual explicit version. But I do have Nightmare, which is my favorite album by Avenged Sevenfold. But again, I need to get the explicit version because I don't like censorship because it just ruins songs. Whenever you listen to the lyrics of a song, then all you hear is just silence. Whenever there's supposed to be a lyric there, come on, it doesn't help. I'll rant about that in another video. But my favorite Avenged Sevenfold song is the title track on this, Nightmare. Welcome to the Family is really good. Buried Alive, Natural Born Killer. So Far Away is a really good power ballad. So yeah, that's a good album. And then Hail to the King. I want to get their other albums too. I want to get Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, The Stage, and then the album they did a couple years ago that people were like, this shit's weird, which it was weird. But Hail to the King is really good. It has another one of my favorite Avenged Sevenfold songs, Shepherd of Fire. That riff is awesome. And then, of course, the title track is also good. And every other song, too. Next up is Audioslave's self-titled debut. For those of you who don't know, this is kind of like an Alter Bridge situation where members of a band just get another vocalist and they change and they form a new band. So with Alter Bridge, it was Creed, but instead of Scott Stapp, it was Miles Kennedy. So with this band, it was Rage Against the Machine, but instead of Zach De La Rocha, and instead of doing rapping, they got Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, and it was just more traditional rock, hard rock. The most popular song on here, Like a Stone, is really good, but my personal favorites are Cautious and Show Me How to Live, especially Cautious, man. That song is awesome. And also, a really underrated one is I Am the Highway. Definitely check out I Am the Highway. It's a really sad song. If I can get the thing back in here. Next up is Andrew WK, I Get Wet. That album cover is nasty as hell. But this album is a nice party rock album, you know. It's time to party and party hard are two of the songs on here. So it's literally just a good party rock album. Next up is this compilation album called Awesome 80s. Razor in the Music presents Awesome 80s. It's got Queen on here, the B-52s, Hall & Oates, Dexy's Midnight Runners, the Go-Go's, Paula Abdul. So it's literally just like a bunch of 80s, like different genres, rock, pop, stuff like that. Next up, we have Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. This is a pretty good album from the 90s. There's even a musical based on it, for those of you who didn't know. Sorry, I thought I heard a noise, guys. Hold on. I'll close my door just so there's no more distractions. I thought I heard something. My house is not haunted, I swear. Next up, we have 20th Century Masters, the best of ABBA. I'm actually part Swedish, actually, so I don't know. Ever since I found out that I'm part Swedish, same with German and English, I just became more delved into the culture, especially with music, and ABBA is Swedish. And, you know, I should have known I was Swedish, because, you know, the Vikings were mostly Swedish and Scandinavian, and I'm like 6'6", so I'm pretty tall. But any jokes aside, ABBA's really good, actually. My favorite song by ABBA is actually Fernando. I don't know why, that song really hits hard for me for some reason, Fernando. It's just like nice, like beautifully paced and beautifully sung. So yeah, and also you get them whistling that. I can't really whistle that great. Next up, we have one of my favorite newer metal bands, or, well, they've been around since kind of the 90s, but they didn't get popular till the 2000s. Amon Amarth, Surtur Rising. I only have 3 albums by them, but I want to get others. But this is Surtur Rising. This is the deluxe version. So it's got the album, and then it's got Bloodshed over Balkan, 2008. It's a bonus DVD, which is really awesome. But that album cover is really awesome. I love Amon Amarth so much. Like, just cool, like, melodic death metal with, like, very influenced by Tolkien. Actually, their name, I believe, is actually taken from a volcano that was in Lord of the Rings, called Amon Amarth. Next up is, I believe this was their first concept album. I could be wrong, but it is a concept album, but it's Jomsviking. That's definitely my favorite album cover by them, actually, but this is definitely my favorite album by Amon Amarth. First Kill and Honesty of Blood are awesome. Vengeance Is My Name is also really cool. I always like to, I don't know, I think the vocal intro for that song, "We thought the odds would prevail. My sword and I are one. And vengeance is my name." Just awesome. I can't scream, guys, really. At least not this early. And then the last album I have by them, and again, I want to get all their albums because I'm a huge fan, but again, I only buy CDs in person. But and if they're goodly priced. But this is Berserker from 2019. Crack the Sky is a really good song. Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor, and then Raven's Flight. Those are like the 3 biggest ones. But the closing track, Into the Dark, is really cool too. Wings of Eagles, Skull and Haiti. Like, I don't know. If you're not a fan of melodic death metal, then you won't like them. But if you like heavier music, definitely check out Amon Amarth. Next up, I have Accept, Balls to the Wall. Love that album cover. The title track on this is pretty good, but my personal favorites are Love Child and Losers and Winners. Those are really good songs. This is the only album, like studio album I have by them, and it was because it was a gift. But I can never find the studio albums around here in record stores, and I'm honestly just tempted just to buy them online, but then they're kind of expensive online. But this is Aerosmith, Get a Grip. This is during the era where I'm not the biggest fan of, which is their most popular era, because, like, I'm not a big fan of Crying or Crazy. I do like Living on the Edge, though. But I prefer, like, the early Aerosmith, like, up until, like, the, a bit, like, from their first album up until Permanent Vacation, I think is, like, really solid, and then after that, it's really hit or miss. But I definitely want to get those early albums. Next up is the only studio album I have by this band, too, and I don't have my 2 favorites. But I have Alice in Chains, self-titled, or the Dog album, or Tripod. It's got like several different names. But I also want to get Facelift, which is my favorite one, and Dirt, which is my second favorite. But again, like, I'm just tempted just to buy all this stuff online, to be honest. I just need to say, just stop waiting to find them in record stores, just buy them online. I do have Alice in Chains live. Pretty decent live album. Next up, I have Anthrax, Spreading the Disease. This was their second album, but this was like the album that kind of made them pop off a little bit. This is the first album with Joey Belladonna on vocals. And really good songs on here. Madhouse, Medusa, Gung Ho, the closing track is really good. It's just like really nice, like raw thrash metal. And then my favorite album by them, Among the Living, is really good. That album cover is also awesome. It's just like nice and creepy, kind of mysterious. But this album is awesome. The title track is really good. Caught in a Mosh is always a really fun one, just to headbang to. I Am the Law. Indians is a really good drum opening. So yeah, that's definitely a good album. State of Euphoria. This one is definitely most known for their cover of Antisocial. Schism is a really good song on here. Not the Tool song. It's a different Schism. Finale, the closing track is really good. Misery Loves Company. I want to get all their studio albums, to be honest, including the Bad John Bush albums. Like, yes, even Volume 8, even Stomp 4. Well, you know, people hate on Stomp 442, and it is a bad album, but it's got some good songs on there, like Fueled and King Size and Riding Shotgun are really good songs on there. So it's not a horrible album. It's just a mid album. But I want to get all their studio albums, just because I really like Anthrax a lot, actually. But the other one I got is For All Kings. It's got like this like nice slip over it, and then slip it in, and then that's what the album cover looks like. The title track is really good. Breathing Lightning is probably my favorite song on here, and then Evil Twin is really good too. This is their most recent studio album, I think, and this was in 2016, so I don't think they've released an album since then. But I could correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Guys, we're 26 minutes in, and I'm literally just getting to the bees. I spent way too long talking about AC/DC. I want to try to do this in one video, just to get it out of the way. Next up, we have The Essential, Billy Joel. I'm a huge Billy Joel fan, and this has everything that I love. But I will get his studio albums, of course, you know. But Piano Man and oh my god, Piano Man and Uptown Girl, Tell Her About It is probably my favorite one. We Didn't Start the Fire, which is a goofy one. So yeah, I love Billy Joel. I used to not like him, but I grew to love him. Alright, next up we have, oh, I'm getting thirsty for some reason. Next up we have Blue Oyster Cult, self-titled debut. This is a really good album. Of course, it's probably most known for Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll. Redeemed is a really good song, and this has 4 bonus tracks. It has 4 demos, which is really cool. Now, all these Blue Oyster Cult albums I did buy online, because I used to buy a decent amount online, but that was only for like a short period that I did that. But then I got Agents of Fortune. This has their most known song, Don't Fear the Reaper. True Confessions is a really good song also. Tattoo Vampire, Debbie Denise. And then I got Spectres. This probably has one, or well, I keep saying this probably has. This has another one of their most famous songs, which is Godzilla, which Godzilla is probably my favorite Blue Oyster Cult song. It's just really good. Golden Age of Leather, and this also has bonus tracks on it as well. These aren't demos, but these are previously unreleased tracks. Night Flyer, Dial M for Murder, Please Hold and Be My Baby. So I get 4 extra songs on this. I think I only paid like $10 for this on eBay, like after shipping. So lucky me, and it was brand new. And then I got Fires of the Unknown Origin. This is a really good album. This has my second favorite song by them, which is Burning For You. Heavy Metal, The Black and Silver is a really underrated song, one of my favorites. Fire of the Unknown Origin, the title track is really good as well. Oh yeah, finally moving on to the second row, finally. So let me move my camera. One of my all-time favorite albums, Boston's self-titled from 1976. More Than a Feeling, of course, is such an amazing song. Peace of Mind is probably my favorite. Foreplay / Long Time is also iconic. Rock and Roll Band. This whole album is just really good. I want to get all the albums by this band, but I only have one of them. But it's Breaking Benjamin, Dear Agony. I'm a huge Breaking Benjamin fan, but I want to get all their albums. So that will be something that I will do in the future. Next up, I have, this came from my uncle, actually. This is the Platinum Collection by Blondie. It's a double disc. How many songs are in here? 26 plus 21. That's 47 songs on here. That's a lot. I'm not the hugest Blondie fan, but if I listen to this, I might become a fan, so I might check that out. Like, check more of it out than I already know. Next up, I have the Sounds of Science anthology by Beastie Boys. This is almost a perfect compilation, but it's literally missing my second favorite Beastie Boys song, which is No Sleep Till Brooklyn. If you guys are curious what my number one is, my number one favorite is Shadrach from Paul's Boutique. It's kind of weird, even though License to Ill is my favorite album, my favorite song is from Paul's Boutique, Shadrach. But this is a really good anthology album. Definitely check it out. Next I got Blink-182, Anima of the State. Funny story about this album cover. So she was a porn star in the 90s, but the members of Blink-182 didn't know she was a porn star. And the first time I heard that, I was like, bullshit. Yes, you did. Like, you knew she was a porn star. Come on. But all jokes aside, this album is really good. Actually, Dumpweed's a really good song. What's My Age Again is probably my favorite. All the Small Things is overrated. It's not bad, but it's just very, very overrated. And then next up, I got Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Haha. You know, it's very teen oriented. But it's got Anthem Part 2 on it, which is really good. The Rock Show is really good too. Yeah, I do like Blink-182 quite a bit, actually. Especially their last album, One More Time. That album was, like, surprisingly really good. I was like, dang. Like, this far into their career, like, they're doing some pretty killer stuff. Billy Idol, Vital Idol. I got this from my uncle as well. I needed to get my favorite one, which is Rebel Yell. But I don't got that yet. I got Boyz II Men 2. You can make fun of me all you want, but I love Boyz II Men. I'll Make Love to You. Whenever I have my wedding, I'm going to sing that to my wife. I'm going to be like, I'll make love to you. I'm sorry, it's just so goofy. Bon Jovi, Crossroads, Greatest Hits. I want to get a few of their studio albums, but this is all I got so far. My favorite song on here is definitely Runaway. It's my favorite Bon Jovi song from their first album. Next up, I got Greatest Hits of the Beach Boys. Also the closing track is also my favorite song by them, which is Kokomo. That's kind of crazy. Most people, whenever you ask them, like, what's your favorite Beach Boys song? Oh, I Get Around. Oh, maybe it's Surfing USA. Maybe it's Wouldn't It Be Nice. Maybe Good Vibrations. No, mine's Kokomo. But I don't care. I freaking love Kokomo. I'll sometimes literally just be singing to myself. I'll be like, Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take ya. Bermuda, Bahama, call them pretty mama. Key Largo, Fontego, ooh, why don't we go down to the Florida Keys? Like, I'll just be singing to myself the song Kokomo. Next up is Backstreet Boys. This is their, I believe it was their debut, if I remember correctly. But of course, it's mostly known for Everybody Backstreet's Back, which is a phenomenal song. Like, come on. I'm definitely not making this into one video because I'm barely scratching the surface. So I'm probably gonna have to split this up into like 2 or 3 parts, probably. Next up, we have Black Sabbath Reunion, and then I have the complete collection with all their studio albums, and I mean all their studio albums. This right here, and I won't show you every single one, like one by one, but I'll show the postcard up here and then I'll point at it. So we've got the self-titled, we got Paranoid, Master of Reality, Volume 4, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, Sabotage, Technical Ecstasy, Never Say Die, Heaven and Hell, which is my favorite, Mob Rules, Born Again, Seventh Star, I believe that's the Eternal Idol, Headless Cross, Tear, Dehumanizer, Cross Purposes, I believe, Forbidden, 13, and then The End Live, which is which I will show you that one just so you guys know. So it is a CD, like an audio CD, but then it also has a Blu-ray to go along with it, which is pretty neat. But Black Sabbath is one of my top 10 favorite bands. Friggin' love Black Sabbath. You know, my favorite album is actually not even an Ozzy album, it's a Dio album. That's just my opinion. Of course, I love the Ozzy era. I actually like majority of Black Sabbath's discography, even without Dio or Ozzy. Like whenever Tony Martin came in, especially, or like whenever Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple, or no, Glenn Hughes ain't from Deep Purple. Ian Gillan from Deep Purple, but Glenn Hughes was on like 7 Star and like a couple others. Anywho, Batman Forever soundtrack. Don't ask me why I got that. The Cure, 17 Seconds. And then Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me by The Cure. This has probably my favorite song by them, which is Just Like Heaven. And then Wish, which is probably my favorite album as a whole. Friday I'm in Love is probably my second favorite song. And then I got Wild Mood Swings by The Cure. Then next I got Everybody Else Is Doing It, So Why Can't We by the Cranberries. Cranberries was a very good band. Rest in peace to Dolores O'Riordan. She passed away back in 2018. She got intoxicated and she unfortunately drowned. I believe she was swimming in the ocean, I believe. And she was supposed to do guest vocals on Bad Wolves' cover of Zombie. So whenever they found out, they decided to donate all the proceeds to her children, which is really good of them. Shout out to Bad Wolves for doing that. Next up, we have their most popular album, which is No Need to Argue, which has their biggest hit, which is Zombie, which is an awesome song. Honestly, one of the best like 1990s like rock vocal performances, in my opinion, was from Dolores O'Riordan on Zombie. Really good vocal performance. And then next up, we have To the Faithful Departed by the Cranberries. Next up, we have The Very Best of Chicago. Not the biggest fan, so this is like perfect, and I only spent like $5 on it at Walmart. Next up, we have the Cars original album series. This comes with the self-titled, Candy-O, Paranorma, Shake It Up, and Heartbeat City. Heartbeat City is a really good album, actually. Human Clay by Creed. I want to get my own Prism, but I don't have it. But I do have that, and I also have Weathered. This is my favorite Creed song on it, One Last Breath. I want to get all the studio albums by this band, but I've only got one of them so far. But I got Children of Bodom, Hate Breeder, which is a really good album. Creedence Clearwater Revival, like Greatest Hits, Chronicle. Really good, what do they call it? They call it Swamp Rock, I think is what they actually call it. Swamp Rock? I don't know, something like that. Celebrity Deathmatch. This is pretty funny. It was a funny show back in the day. Collective Soul, Hints, Allegations, and Things Left Unsaid. That has like their biggest song on it, Shine. Collective Soul, Disciplined Breakdown. And then Collective Soul, Dosage. Really pretty good 90s like alternative rock. Kind of like post-grunge, I guess you could say. Cheap Trick, Authorized, Greatest Hits. I don't know, I'm a little bit biased towards any band from Illinois. Maybe that's just me, but like any band from Illinois, I'm just biased towards, because I mean, even though like Cheap Trick and like Chicago are from up north, like towards that area, and I'm down south, I'm in Southern Illinois. Every time I hear like a famous band like that I really like is from Illinois, I'm like, I don't know, it makes me happy for some reason. I'm a little biased towards them, so I tend to show them a lot of love. This one, I used to get the Metalhead box a lot, so I used to get a few CDs from them. I canceled them after a few times because it got too expensive, for me at least. But this is one of them I got. It's called Chainbreaker, Lethal Desire. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm guessing it looks like just like death metal or like thrash metal maybe. Next up, I have Dire Straits, all their studio albums. It's the self-titled Communique, I think is how you pronounce it, the second album. I forget this one, Making Movies, Love Over Gold, Brothers in Arms, and then the final one, I can't read the name, I forget what it's called. But I think I spent a decent amount. I spent like $30 on this on eBay. But it was brand new as well. And it came with some posters, which I have, I actually have one of the posters hanging up right above Alter Bridge, right, hold on. I can't point. There we go, right where my finger's at. And the next is another band that I only have a few bands where I have the full discography. But I do have the full discography from this band, which is only 7 albums, like studio discography. But I got Death, Scream, Bloody Gore, which is a really good album. That album cover is sick. Love it. Next up, we have Leprosy by Death, which has my favorite album cover. It's just brutal as hell. But I love this. And a lot of these are special editions, so they got 2 discs. The first disc is like the studio album itself, like remastered, and then the second discs are like, they're all like demos or like, demos or outtakes or something like this. Spiritual Healing by Death. This is a really good album. Probably my least favorite album by them, but it's still like it's still an 8 out of 10 album. Like that's how much I like it. But some of the bonus tracks on this on disc 2 are really strange actually. So they have rehearsals, and then the final one they got oh no, it's just a song. That's what it is. I think it's Primus Jam. Yeah, they got a Primus Jam. So apparently the members of a freaking death metal band were fans of Primus. I don't have any Primus records, and I'm sad about it because I really like Primus. But next up, I have Death Human. Comes in like a slip-out case right here. And then we have Individual Thought Patterns, which also has a slip-out cover. And then we have my favorite album by Death. And it's the only one that doesn't have a double disc, like doesn't have special features on it. But Symbolic by Death. And then their final album that they ever did, Sound of Perseverance. This is a double disc. This is a really good album, actually. Chuck Schuldiner unfortunately passed away 3 years after that came out. He had pneumonia. Easily one of the best, like, death metal, like, probably the best death metal frontman ever. Just freaking awesome. Okay, so, I don't know. This video is already 43 minutes long, and I've only gotten to the first row. I spent way too long on AC/DC. So I think I'll split this up into separate parts. I'll split it up into a couple more parts. So yeah, hope you guys like this video. If you did, smash the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment if you like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.